All right, everyone, we are back again on this Monday, January 19, 2026. I hope y'all Monday is going great. First and foremost, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Observed Holiday. As y'all know, today is the third Monday in January, so it is this holiday. And y'all know this past Thursday would have been Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 97th birthday. But unfortunately, his life was cut short back in 1968. He was shot in Memphis. You know, if you know your history, you know. All right, let's talk about it right quick. We're going to get into this Denver Broncos post-game video against the Buffalo Bills. The Broncos did win 33-30 in overtime. Good chunk that happened in this game. First and foremost, give credit to the Buffalo Bills. Their offense played really good. You know, they was able to move the ball efficiently on efficiently on our defense, sustaining drives, keeping their team in the game, finding a way to push the game to overtime, and literally could have had a chance to win this game. They literally could have. Josh Allen did Josh Allen type things, and I didn't really think that Josh Allen had anything to apologize for. You know, maybe it's outside the interceptions, but other than that, I didn't think he played too. I think he played a really good game. I was impressed with how he looked on Saturday. So yeah, and I had a feeling that it was a chance that could happen. When I was looking at the stats, I seen that the Bills had a top 5 offense, especially on the ground. So I knew that I said the Broncos will be battle tested in the running game, in the run defense. You know, our run defense is pretty good. But nope. So yeah, I would say the Bills' offense won the war on the ground. And like I said, they had a really good chance of winning this game. So I'm not gonna pile on here. I'm not gonna be like, I don't think any Bronco fans really piling on as far as like this game, but but I'm not gonna do it though, because I know this game could easily win either way. But that's not to sell our offense short. I think at time I will say that the Bills outplayed the Broncos on offense. I'll say that, but I feel like the Broncos really held their own. We actually got a red zone touchdown. What the hell? We got a red zone touchdown, and that was that. So yeah, what it took me, I would say just a slight better with red zone efficiency, but it wasn't up to my standards. So I was very disappointed. And once again, just like the Chargers game, the Broncos was rewarded a grand opportunity where I think they had the fumble. I think it was in the third quarter, and settled for a field goal, which, like I say, you get grand opportunities. Your defense gives you the ball, your special teams find a way to give you the ball, and you can start possession at the opposing team's in the red zone. You got to score touchdowns. You just got to. And that, and that's become, and the Broncos have kind of struggled with that a good bulk of the season. But at the time when you really need to step up and get those points, you got to make that happen. You can't stall on offense and do bullshit calls and then just settle for field goals and say field goals are going to cut it. They're not. Now, the saving grace for the Broncos overall was the turnovers. And what I tell y'all every week, y'all know my first key to victory: get turnovers on defense. Because if you get turnovers on defense, it flips the field. I just need my offense to do something with these turnovers. But yeah, so the Broncos got 5 turnovers on Saturday on defense. I know the first one was a forced fumble in the second quarter, I think. The second turnover was when Josh Allen tried to lateral to one of his teammates, but that lateral went all sorts of wrong, and the Broncos managed to recover that. Now I'm not gonna pile on with the taking the field goal there, because it was only like 5 to 6 seconds left in the half when that turnover when that lateral fumble happened and the Broncos recovered. So the Broncos really had no choice but to take a field goal at that time. The third turnover was where we had that strip sack. We had that when we had that sack on Josh Allen to force him to fumble the ball. That was the turnover where the offense should have got a touchdown. But that was another one where the offense stalls and wind up settling for a field goal. The fourth turnover was an interception. It wasn't Jaquan Miller got the fourth interception. Not the fourth, like that fourth turnover, but they had a turnover. The fourth turnover was an interception. And then the fifth and final turnover was that interception when Jaquan Miller snatched the ball away from, I think it was Keon Coleman. But, yeah, if it was Keon Coleman, never trust a Florida State motherfucker to try to win you the game. They always fail. Why do you think Jimmy Swiss has never been to the playoffs? I'm just saying. But yeah, 5 turnovers. I was really pleased. I'm very proud of the defense. I wasn't proud that they got pushed around for most of the game and damn near gave up 500 yards. But I am super proud of them for at least making up for it by getting turnovers. Got a sack and a half on Josh Allen. No, got 2 sacks on Josh Allen. So, that was always good. It's always good to see some sacks. And it's been, and the Broncos and our defense could have easily got more sacks. But, because I think it was times where they was putting pressure, but just could not bring down Josh Allen. He finds a way to escape danger and make plays. So that was really frustrating to see. And one of those chances, Broncos could have. One of those chances where the Broncos put pressure on Josh Allen, it was deep. It was in the end zone. They was able to complete the mission, they would have got the safety and the game would have been over with, because that was an overtime. So, yeah, so a lot of things that, there were some things that went wrong, but like I said, there were some things that went right. The turnovers, did manage, and we won the game. So that was some of the things that went right. Bo Nix did have 2 interceptions. And the crazy thing was, I think I may be flip-flopping this around backwards, but I think it was a play where Bo Nix threw the interception, and then like the very next play, or maybe 2 plays later, Josh Allen turns around, throws an interception. And the crazy thing was, I was like, okay, Bo Nix throws the interception. We need to nick him back, and we immediately nick him back. So that was kind of funny to see. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, also Bo Nix, man, it was really damning to find out what happened to him. Cause y'all gotta remind me, I was celebrating my birthday. I wasn't really, I kind of overheard what happened, but I wasn't really locked in on what happened. It wasn't until yesterday morning when I kind of woke up and I was kind of getting right. That's why I really lays it in on the fact that Bo Nix did suffer an injury. I have no pinpoint on when the injury might have happened, but if it was on that kneel down, then Sean Payton's already stupid for it. And this is what frustrates me about Sean Payton. Sometimes he just makes some bonehead decisions at the wrong time. You within 5 feet of the end zone. It is overtime. The Bills already touched the ball. Now you got the ball. All you got to do is just kick the field goal. Why in the fuck are you kneeling the ball for no damn reason? I just never understood that play. You got, take the fucking field goal and just be done with it. Quit trying to prolong the game and risk injury to your players. And much worse, risk having them fuck up the knee and fumble the damn ball, give the ball back to the Bills. But thankfully, we was able to down it, and next play, which was to be expected, Sean Payton did take the field goal. Will Lux makes it, and the Broncos get out of there with the victory. Not a lot of penalties in this game. I think the Broncos was only held to 3. So, and I know some people are going to talk about the controversy towards the end of the game. Look, referees are bad in every game, but in this case, I will admit that one pass interference penalty that was called in overtime, like on that last drive, I felt like it was warranted. I felt like that was a good PI. No, it wasn't a. No, I'll take it back. I don't think it was a pass interference. I remember it was a good. I can't remember. I feel like it was a good call or a good no call. I feel like if it was pass interference, I'd say yeah. No, I think it was pass interference. Yeah, I say yeah. I was like yeah. That's. I don't have the stats in front of me. So but I feel like no. I'm back now. Yeah, I do remember. It was like last drive or the drive before that. It was a no call, I should say, and it was a good no call because the ball was catchable. So I wasn't really tripping off that one. Now, towards the end of the game, there was a pass interference penalty on White from the Buffalo Bills, and to me, it didn't look like a pass interference. The Broncos were gonna win the game regardless, so I wasn't really tripping off that. So, but I'll take the free yards whenever they're whenever I can get them. But I didn't feel like it was a pass interference. I felt that it was catchable, and we just didn't catch the ball. So I feel like the Broncos did get fortunate on that penalty, but White needs to keep his emotions in check because, I don't blame you for being upset. I don't blame you for wanting to discuss with the refs. But when you go into the territory of throwing your yanking your helmet off and throwing it, you're kind of asking for the rest to fuck you even more. So I just didn't, I felt like he really lost his composure, and that also kind of played a part in the Bills' downfall. That along with the 5 turnovers, because the Broncos didn't really do shit in the red zone. Let's be real. They got 1 touchdown, but that was about it. Had the Bills not turned the ball over, maybe they win this game. Maybe. I don't know. But, it goes to show that our defense really stepped up when we need them to step up. But like I said, with the I felt like the penalties at the end really, the unwarranted penalty and then the warranted penalty, where, like I said, when White threw off his helmet, that was a warranted penalty because you can't do that. You gotta you just can't do that in the league. So because the refs are gonna flag you for that every time. I felt like that doing the Bills at the end. But I felt like that doing the Bills at the end. I do feel like even had those penalties not happened, the Broncos would have just won the game anyway. They would have still took the field goal and won it. But he just gave Will Lutz an easier field goal. That's all it was. So yeah, wild and crazy game. I think some people may say that was probably the game of the week. Rams Bears, it was kind of tiresome. Now it's kind of really not at all. I guess I'll say I was really tired yesterday, so I really wasn't focused on. I wasn't really focused on the game like that. But I guess in a way you could say that the Broncos Bills game was definitely the game of the week this past weekend. And I'm relieved that the Broncos won this game. I had my victory shot. Because a lot of times when the Broncos win, I feel the need to take a victory shot, whether it's like a blowout win or a win type win. We won a game, so it's unfortunate for the Buffalo Bills fans. Not Buffalo Bills fans. I'm afraid that it's unfortunate for the Buffalo Bills that their season had to come to an end. But at the end of the day, I'm relieved that my team is moving on. Now, like I said, Bo Nix, he suffered an ankle injury. It was notified Saturday night, but like I said, I kind of heard, but it really sunk in yesterday morning, or yesterday afternoon, that he was injured and he's going to be out the rest of the playoffs, which is unfortunate because I really wanted Bo Nix to play in the Super Bowl, and the Broncos have a really good chance of getting there. Now, obviously, there's been some chirping. People will talk about, well, Broncos are done because Bo Nix is. And this is where, and I'm probably going to say this in the pregame analysis video when I talk about the AFC title game. Y'all have to understand. Bo Nix did what he needed to do. He didn't play the best at times, but when he needed to step up and be clutch, he did that. But let's not act like he is the only reason why the Broncos went 14-3 and won this game. This was a team collective. The defense really played great all 3/4 of the year. They kind of did slack off after the bye week, but our defense really, for the most part, was really dominant. The Broncos were resilient down the stretch. So down the stretch when it was losing and they needed to come up with plays at the end to find a way to win games. So, and this is kind of what really pisses me off about some sports fans when they talk about the Broncos, because for a lot of years, these fans swear that the Broncos were a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. If it was a quarterback away from the Super Bowl, how come the Broncos did not have a winning record with Joe Flacco? How come they didn't have a winning record with Teddy Bridgewater? How come they didn't have a winning record with Russell Wilson? So no, the Denver Broncos were never. The Denver Broncos were never a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. They were an overhaul away from the Super Bowl. That's what it was. The team had to get younger. They had to build the chemistry. They had to start from scratch. That's what eluded us all these years. They kept reaching for quarterbacks and all that. It just didn't work. And then the team the front office finally woke up and realized they were more than a quarterback away from the damn Super Bowl. So with that being said, the Broncos won. Unfortunately, Bo Nix is done for the year. But we always been a next man up mentality. So got the Patriots on Sunday, AFC title game. I might be I don't want to say too much, but yeah, y'all not gonna say that. Not on wax. But I will say the Broncos will be taking on the Patriots in the AFC title game. So it looks like Jared Stidham is going to have to come up to bat. And the thing is, y'all also fail to understand, the Broncos have weapons. They have, Courtland Sutton's still out there. Marvin Mims is still out there. And thank God for Marvin Mims in the fourth quarter. He stepped up when we needed him to, and made the play that would have won the game for the Broncos had the defense stiffened up and not let the Bills get down the field and have the game tied field goal to send the game to overtime. But Marvin Mims is still there. I think Troy Franklin might be out. I haven't seen much of him yet on Saturday. Evan Ingram is still there. Troutman, I'm sure he might be playing. Look, the point is the 2025 rendition of the Denver Broncos is more than just Bo Nix. That's, so yeah. So if you want to talk about like the Giants game or maybe the Cowboys game or the HTTR's game when the Broncos really had to step up on offense, yeah, you can credit that to Bo Nix in the offense. But look at the Texas game, 18-15. You can't credit it on Bo Nix. You got to credit it on the defense. The defense stepped up when they needed to. When needed to. The first game against the Raiders, the defense stepped up when they needed to. It feels like this team. Look at the Chargers game when the Chargers sat out their starters. Our offense didn't look good, but they didn't fuck up either. They didn't cost the Broncos a game. So yeah, it's going to be games where Bo Nix and the offense are going to make plays and put up 30, 40 some odd points and win the game. But it's also times we're going to be in shootouts, and then it's going to be up to the defense. So, and the defense will come out and get like 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks, maybe a couple of turnovers, and probably win like 14-10. The fact of the matter is, the Denver Broncos know how to win, and that's what it boils down to. It doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, special teams. This team knows how to win, and that's why they go into the AFC title game. Now, we're gonna see what happens on Sunday. Like I said, I will talk more about this in a couple of days. When the injury reports and all that start to get settled in, we'll That way I have more in-depth analysis on what to expect from the game on Sunday. I do see one thing that's possibly going to happen in regards to the offense. I do see a situation to where the Broncos could become run heavy early on, and that's going to be key, especially if J.K. Dobbins returns, because there is a chance that J.K. Dobbins may return for this game on Sunday, which will be a good help, because then you got to worry about who's going to touch the rock, Dobbins, Harvey, or McLaughlin, because these three running backs are doing to hurt you, especially if it's the right play for the Broncos. So, yeah, if J.K. does come back, I do expect the Broncos to be a little bit more run heavy in the first half. And then once Stidham starts to find his footing, then I can start seeing them throwing some passing plays as the game progresses, so the Broncos don't become one-dimensional on offense. So, but yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. So really that the Broncos won this game. Let's keep the same going, though. The quest for 4 is still intact. We still got a chance. I don't give a fuck what the outsiders say. If you're not riding with Broncos country, fuck you. If you want Broncos country to fail, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. If you say that the Broncos are done, kiss my ass with your negative Nancy vibes. Even some of these Bronco fans talk about, oh, we done because Bo Nix. If we're done, don't watch the game now. Go watch Lifetime. Go watch Love and Hip Hop. Go watch one of these other weak ass shows, and let the optimistic Bronco fans who live, eat, sleep, breathe this team 24/7, 365, 366 on leap year, root for this, watch this game. Let us watch. And then you're going to find something else to do on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Mountain. Because we don't need any negative Nancy motherfuckers who's going around having already counting the boys out before the game that kicks off. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Okay, maybe they do lay in there, but we don't know that yet. The game styles be played. So whatever happens, happens. They lay in there, yeah, it'll be disappointing, but it is what it is. But if they come out and they play good and they handle their business and they win the game, then that's good. But also, with that being said, if you're a Bronco fan that's doubting the Broncos now, if they win on Sunday, don't you celebrate? Because last time I checked, you said the season was over. When Bo goes, the Broncos go. Bo season is over, so is the Broncos. Nope, I don't want to hear shit from y'all because y'all doubt it. You already counted the Broncos out, so I don't want to see y'all celebrating or relishing if the Broncos win. I only want the ones who still believe, who still got the optimism that we can go out here and handle our business. I only want those Bronco fans celebrating and relishing. But anyways, let me ride up out of here. So y'all have a good night. I'll catch up with y'all in a couple of days. We'll start talking a little bit more about college basketball next week once the AFC title game comes and goes, whether the Broncos win or lose. Because we gotta talk about this college basketball. We got NASCAR's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're gonna talk about that. And that'll be that. So y'all have a good night, and I'll catch y'all later.